host, Lynn Whitbeck, the Strategic Sales Queen, and today I'm joined by our wonderful guest, Ashlyn Sindhu. And today we're going to be talking about why technology keeps failing seniors and what older adults really need instead. So, we all know that relying too heavily on technology can create serious gaps in care and communication with older adults. My mom is a poster child for this. And in today's episode, Ashlyn explains why tech keeps falling short for seniors and shares the simple, human first approach that actually works. And I want to welcome you and recommend if you love the content, you love the show, please subscribe and get the shows every time we have a new episode. So, Ashlyn is the founder of Your Senior Tech, an intergenerational organization that helps older adults navigate technology safely and confidently in an increasingly digital world. Through on site tech support, educational workshops, and scan prevention programs, Ashlyn works directly with seniors and senior living communities to close the digital gap using real human support, not complicated tools. Ashlyn leads a student powered model that pairs high school and college students with seniors, creating meaningful intergenerational connections while delivering practical tech help. She focuses on digital literacy, online safety, and access, with a growing emphasis on protecting older adults from scams and misinformation. And Senior Tech is now a nonprofit and it's going to be scaling its impact to reach even more communities. And Ashlyn, I am so thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lynn, for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this today. It's been a really exciting process, but yeah.
Well, and I'm thrilled to hear it as well because, like I said, I mean, my mom is a poster child for this. So I'd love to hear some background because I actually don't know your story of what inspired you to start focusing on helping seniors in a more human centered way rather than relying on yet more technology.
Yeah, so working directly with seniors week after week, I started to notice the same patterns happening over and over again. I saw that the issue wasn't necessarily the device itself, it was what happened the moment something didn't work. So a lot of the time, the seniors I'm working with would freeze and say things like, "Oh, I'm too scared to click anything," or "I don't want to break it," or "I don't want to go to the wrong place." And that just goes to show that technology wasn't built with seniors in mind. Yet now we live in a world where almost everything is digital. When someone actually sits next to them, especially a younger person, that fear drops immediately. There's no judgment, there's no rushing, there's no tech jargon. And once that fear's gone, something really important happens. Seniors start trying things on their own. They stop apologizing. They come back with new questions to ask us. And that's really when I got to realize that we don't need more tools. We need to bridge that gap in a human way.
Yeah, I love that because one of the things my mother will do is she'll say, "Well, I'm stupid," and I'm going like, "You're not stupid. You're not stupid.
Yeah,
Women are human being at all. You know, you just haven't learned the skill."
we hear
Uh,
that all the time.
oh,
It's more common than you might think.
oh, that's sad, but it's not the case. So, I mean, you just described some of this, but what's the main problem you see when technology is used to support older adults?
Yeah, so a lot of technology comes from assuming confidence and prior experience. Many seniors were never considered when these new systems were designed, yet they're expected to use them for things like banking, healthcare, communication. There's a plethora of things that have now been shifted over from that in-person support that we might be used to completely online. And what I see without human support, a lot of older adults disengage. And that's something I want to be clear about. Seniors aren't resistant to technology. I know that might be the status quo and the stereotype that, oh, seniors hate technology. But in my experience working with hundreds of seniors, they love learning about it. Some of the most common questions we get are about exciting topics like AI, and whatever's going on new in the tech industry. The issue isn't curiosity. They have a fear of making a mistake and not knowing how to recover.
Yeah. No, I can see that, and because that's one thing that will frustrate my mom. It's like, "Well, I don't want this. I just wanna be able to talk to somebody, or I just wanna be able to physically go into a bank," you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's a big
And
one, 100%.
yeah, and they just haven't learned how to do all these things. So how do you help solve this problem? And I know that you have really approached this with a more simple, um, a philosophy that you follow. So can you share that?
Yeah, so I do firmly believe in the realistically, in the simplicity of it, but our approach is simple yet intentional. So we like to walk seniors through problems on their own devices, step by step. And we don't do the clicking ourselves. We have them take control of the situation. We have them click and walk through the process. We explain what's happening and why it's happening instead of just fixing it for them. And that's what makes us different from Best Buy Geek Squad or whatever other tech help that's out there. And I truly think that this is an important process because it builds that independence. Instead of needing help, anytime something goes wrong, older adults gain the confidence to try things on their own. So I'll see a shift from, um, can you do this for me or can you help me do this? Either in that same session towards the end or the next sessions, they say, let me try or I can do this. So, I mean, that truly means the world when you get to see that difference and that progression. And I think it's honestly the intergenerational piece that plays a massive role in our system as well. Students are learning how to communicate. They're learning how to slow down. They're learning how to teach without taking over. What I hear from a lot of my student mentors or technicians is they realized for the first time after helping a senior how much responsibility and impact their everyday technology has. So for me, it's a double whammy. The seniors get that good impact, and then the students get to learn leadership, they get to learn patience and empathy all in the real time, in the real world. So I think it's so important.
Yeah. No, I was actually going to ask you about the intergenerational component because I think that's one way that what you're doing is it's actually serving multiple purposes. It's so nuanced and layered.
Yeah. There's so much to it. The students that get to work with these seniors, they're truly so passionate and they're so caring. I feel like the younger generation, I mean, we get pegged as immature, irresponsible, and yeah, a lot of us are those things, but we do have some good things about us, and that would be, for instance, our tech knowledge and our ability to adapt and evolve so quickly. So I really like the idea that we get to share that good side within our community and within, other generations. We get to see that integration. And I think that's something that's lacking in the world. It's that community connection. So that's really what I wanted to bring with your senior tech and now expand with Senior Tech Foundation, and be able to scale that mission and just show everybody that support that's missing.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that I find fascinating about this is that both sides are winning because the students are also, I mean, they're now teachers, right? But they're learning a whole new skill set for themselves. Of you said how to lead, how to teach, how to really step into a different role than they've been in.
Yeah, it gives them that power. It gives them that ability to be able to learn a new skill. We are I use high school and college students. They're in school, they're taking classes, but when do they get to use those skills in the real world? And this gives them the chance to be able to do that. That gives them the chance to step up and showcase their skills that they have. And it's really inspiring to see a lot of the students that I work with, for them to just the evolution of when they first started with us to now, and how much confidence they have and how much they enjoy just talking and just sharing their expertise, like simple things like, for instance, putting in a Wi-Fi password. We might think that's an everyday thing, but to a senior, they don't know how to do that. They don't have the skills for that. So for a student to get to teach a senior how to do that and realize, whoa, I'm sharing something valuable. I'm doing something that actually is benefiting my community and making someone's day. I mean, what's better than that? To see a smile on someone's face, and I think it's just so wonderful.
Yeah, well, these are also really transferable skills
Yes.
for them as well. So when we're looking at this situation, like from that 60,000-foot level, you know, why do you feel that this challenge is so common when it comes to seniors and technology?
I think society moved into a digital world very, very quickly. Like I said, banking, healthcare, communication completely went online. And, seniors didn't choose to fall behind. The pace just changed for them. Many people were expected to adapt without being taught how. And I think that's the reason it's so challenging when it comes to seniors and technology.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that gap, um, because, we moved from a completely different, like, analog age, right, from their generation, and even though things have started shifting over and it went super fast, all of a sudden, everything's switching over, and I
Yeah.
think that brings, up, why do you think the problem this specific situation is so often overlooked or misunderstood by the companies building these tools or by the companies requiring their clients uh, to use them for their products or services.
Yeah, so that's a great point you bring up. Most technology is built by people who are already very comfortable using it. So they focus on whether something works, not how it would feel to use it for the first time. And, a lot of people don't know this, but seniors are not part of the design process whatsoever. So these companies are not factoring in learning curves. They're not factoring in recovery from mistakes. And also, something that is a little left behind, emotional comfort, that's getting
Yeah.
overlooked, even though these are very critical things, especially with older adults.
Yeah. No, I can see that as well. And I love the fact that you brought in the emotional piece because they're designing these tools, that for whatever they're going to be serving products and services their clients, but they completely left out the humanness
Mhm.
of that, and that it's another human being who's using these tools, and often the people who are designing them, obviously, they're already, quite a bit younger to begin with, and they're already much and they live in a tech world, so they're very familiar with this,
Yeah.
and it's almost like they have a complete paradigm blockage about looking outside of that, because even when things change and I've, ridden the wave, right? But, oh, no, a new operating system, well, now it won't do this. Well, how do I make it do what it was the simplest thing, I'm not a senior yet, but I can see it already and how frustrating it is. My Mac OS changed and so the Safari changed. I used to be able to turn all my triangles down. So I have all these bookmark folders, right?
Yeah.
And that way I can go in and I just turn the triangle down. There's this click, turn it down. Now I have to click
Extremely
to it and it opens a new thing. And it's like, before I could just turn it down, go to what I wanted and turn it back, and because I like it pretty neat and tidy, but
Mhm.
now I'm having to click through, and it's driving me out of my mind.
It's
And it's
driving
like
everybody out of their minds. I mean,
it's
yeah.
like, "What the heck?" Okay, well, it's not just me. But sometimes when they do these things, um, it's like, okay, you completely took out another side of this. You didn't, because of their own, blinds, the blind side, right? Their own blinders that they're not seeing what somebody else is seeing.
Yep. I
And
100% see where
yeah,
you're going with it. There's
yeah,
blind
I mean, they're always, "Oh, you can do all this online for my mom, your mom's healthcare," and it's like, well, my mom can't do any of this,
Mhm.
because she hasn't learned, right? And I really struggle to sit down and, even to get her to use the Apple TV, she can't figure out the swipe, you
Yeah.
know? And she's still using an old iPhone with the button. Specifically, I actually bought her a brand new one, but and a beautiful color, she loved it, but it was like, she can't the swipe, she just went, "I want to go back to the old one." was like,
That's
okay.
that's so much more common than you might think. I work with so many seniors who just when you get a software update, oh, we get a software update on our phone and we're like, "Oh, okay, new system." For them, that could be catastrophic because it could
Yeah.
change the way that they've been doing things for years and years, or maybe they've even been doing it for a couple months and they finally got the hang of it, and then something changes and it just throws everything out of equilibrium, and it
Yeah.
really makes a difference. And I think our understanding of that is so lacking. So that's kind of our mission. That's part of my mission is to make sure that that doesn't
Yeah.
happen to people. It's
Exactly. And it's like just moving from a button to the swiping,
yeah,
I mean, and I get it because, it's like, I mean, I've gotten used to it, but it took me a few months to get used to not having a button anymore. Right. And it drove me nuts with
yeah.
the new, yeah. But anyway, okay, we could go on and on about this, forever. So, but I do want to ask you this question because for everybody who's tuning in, what's one practical thing listeners can do, like me helping my mom, that we can do right now to better support older adults in their lives?
Yeah, so the number one thing I would say is sit beside them and let them stay in control. Have them use their own device and talk them through what's happening out loud. Explain the why to them, not just the steps. I've seen the biggest progress when someone just says, "Take your time, you won't break it or you won't click on anything wrong, or I'll be right here to help you if anything happens." Um, but I have noticed it really just is spending the time, having the patience to sit by them and walk them through what's going on, but more so, let them have the control. It builds those skills of independence, and it also builds the muscle memory of them being able to do it on their own. So when they run into a problem, they won't go running to someone to fix it. They'll have those skills to be able to do it themselves because of that practice. So I really like to just reiterate that point of just take the time and explain the why. You
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's brings us to the importance of patience, right?
patient.
And of, yeah, and doing that, providing the tech, but emotional support.
100%. I mean, that's something I had to learn. By any means, I was not a patient person, and I think that's one of the skills I've really learned ever since I started working, with the senior community. I just I developed it because you cannot approach things at a go, go, go pace like you might normally do. You need to break it down, you need to take the time, and like you said, the emotional support is such a vital aspect, and that takes time.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of things in our lives that sometimes we need to just take a step back and
Yes.
have a pattern interrupt. So, Ashlyn, is there anything you wish more people understood about seniors and technology that we haven't talked about or covered?
Yeah, so one thing that I notice all the time is that seniors will blame themselves. They'll say
Oh,
things like,
yeah.
this is probably a dumb question, or like you mentioned, how your mom mentions, oh, I feel stupid asking this. And they'll make comments like that to me or to my other student technicians. And that really sticks with me every single time because it's not stupidity, it's shame. They feel behind. And it's because they weren't taught things the way my generation was or the other generations were, and they feel judged just for needing that help and for needing that support. And I think that's something we really need to change. My generation grew up with this technology. For us, fixing something on a phone feels so small, it feels so minuscule. But for a senior, that moment can mean independence, it can mean confidence, it means relief. And we actually have that ability to use what we know to make a real difference in somebody's life, even in ways that might feel minor to us or feel insignificant to us.
Yeah. No, and I hear that my mom will say, I have a stupid question for you, or I have a dumb question. I hate it when she says that because it's like, no, it's not stupid, it's not dumb, it's a question that you have. So it's a legitimate question.
Yes.
Um, and whenever she says, "Well, I'm not I'm stupid or I'm not smart enough," and I really that also gets me because it's like, no, you're a highly intelligent human being. You just haven't learned this. So thank you so much, Ashlyn. I really appreciate your sharing why technology keeps failing seniors and what older adults really need instead. And I know our listeners are going to be as fascinated as I am about what you're doing. So, how can they find out more about you, connect with you, and learn more?
Yeah, so you can learn more about our work at yourseniortech.com. You can also follow our journey on social media at Your Senior Tech. We're on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. And we actually share what this process looks like in real life. We show the intergenerational connections. We show the impact as we're growing. And we also share some little funny bits on there too. So feel free to tune in and watch if you'd like to enjoy that. But yeah, thank you so much, Lynn, for having me. I really enjoyed sharing my perspective on things. And I hope everyone else did too.
Well, I know I did. It's just been such a great conversation. Thank you, Ashlyn, and thank you to all our listeners who tuned in today. I mean, this has absolutely been a very informative discussion. And I invite you all to listen to this episode, share it, like it, all the things. Give us a 5-star review. And Ashlyn, thank you again so much. This has really been a powerful, powerful episode.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn.